Hi everybody out there in YouTube. How are you doing? My name is Star with H&S Designs Now. And in today's video, we're going to be making a simple wire ring. Before we get too far, please subscribe, hit the notification bell icon, comment if you have any questions, anything like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started real quick. For today's video, you're going to need your wire. Today I'm going to use 18 gauge. You will need a bead of some type. I'm using a 12mm rose quartz, and I know you can't really see it. It looks white. It's rose quartz, though. You will need some kind of a ring mandrel. If you do not have a ring mandrel, something like at the top of a nail polish bottle will work. Something along those lines, about the size of the ring finger that you're wanting to make. I do like this grooved mandrel, because the bead will sit nicely in it, okay? Just my personal preference. I do have others. But anyway, as for tools, you will, of course, need your flush cutters. You will want either round nose pliers, or excuse me, bent nose pliers, Lord of mercy, bent nose pliers, or chain nose pliers, or tweezer nose pliers, something along those lines. You may want to have a pair of round nose pliers handy if you want to swirl up your wire a little bit, but that's up to you. So let's go ahead and get started while I move everything out of the way. So you're going to start with your wire. I'm using silver for this because I figure silver is going to go really nice with the light pink quartz, and for this you're probably going to want about 20 inches, give or take. Depends on the kind of the size bead you want. I actually got through trying to make another video and I ran out of wire and I messed up. So I'm having to remake it, and that's okay. So for this one, this is such a large bead, I'm going to use a little bit more wire than 20 inches. I'm probably going to pull about 25 inches off. I do run my hand over my wire just to kind of warm it up, help work harden it just a little bit, and help straighten it too. Because especially if it's on a spool like this, it will kind of kink up. You can kind of see it's kind of not perfectly straight. And I'm just roughly getting about 25 inches. It doesn't have to be exact because nothing is exact. You know, it's a very hard thing to do. Just cut that off. I'm going to set my spool of wire aside, and again, just going to run my hands over the length of the wire one more really good time. Alright, so now you want to take your bead. There's plenty of other simple beaded ring tutorials out there. I'm sure you've seen it. This is just my version. You take your bead, you put it on your wire, and you put it roughly in the center of the wire. Doesn't have to be exact, but close. And then you want to figure out what size of a ring that you want to make. So for this one, I'm going to make a size 9. And for this type of ring, you want to go down one size. You want to make it one size larger, because when everything's said and done, it's going to shrink down about one ring size. Okay, so I'm going to start at a 10. If you want a 7, you start at an 8. You want a 5, you start at a 6. What have you. You get the point. And then you're going to take your wires and you're going to pull them around. When you do this part, because, ooh, got to get off camera. This part, with this being such a large bead, you see, I have to make the wire go straight down. You will not have to do that necessarily on, say, a 6mm bead or anything like that, because this is such a large bead, the wire does need to come down. This also keeps the bead from moving off of your wire from where it sits, so this could be good. Alright, so coming back over here, I got it on a size 10, okay, and then you're going to take, I got to kind of do this, I got to get weird a little bit. You're going to take your wire, cross it in the back. The wire that sits on top stays on top. The wire that sits on bottom stays on bottom. That is kind of a key thing you want to remember. So now cross that over the front cross this over the bottom, top and bottom, so what I should say instead of front. So if you want just a simple two wire band, leave it at that. You're good. So now, if you want more, if you wanted a thicker wire band, you go around more. That means you're going to have a longer piece of wire. So just remember that. If you want the thicker band, longer wire. Thinner band, you should be good. Okay, so now you're going to take your wire and you're going to wrap it around your bead. Okay, and I usually do about one at a time. You want to keep it down, because if you don't, it could slide up. You see what it's doing right here? Okay, you don't want that. I'm showing you that on purpose. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one. And how many rotations around your bead is entirely up to you. You can do one rotation, you can do 2, 3, 4, you can do 10 if you want. However many, it is entirely your choice. And if you notice, for a minute there, you could still kind of see the gap right here. Well, you notice I tried to fill it in so that it wasn't noticeable. If you get to that, if you want to leave it open, you can. You want to close it up, you just saw how to do it. You just kind of have to be a little careful with what you're doing. So let's see. Right now, still sitting about a 10. Pretty good. Not horrible. So you see where my wire is coming out at. So I'm going to bring this up. That one's coming down. Beautiful. Still sitting at a 10. All right, so we're doing good. So now at this point, you're going to take your ring off of your mandrel or off of your whatever you have. Now this is the part where this part, the tail of your wire, is going to go through the ring band at least, I would say, 3 times. For this, you will need either your bent nose pliers, chain nose pliers, tweezers pliers, whichever you have. Be mindful. If you're using brown wire, it's going to want to slip. It's going to want to move on you. So be mindful of that. Usually, I would suggest that if you want your first wrap to be up close to the bead, you start it up close. If you start it way down here, it's not going to work. You want to get it up close where you want it to be. So push it on through. Coerce it, kind of. And you see what I'm doing? I'm kind of getting the wire to stay up close where it is. So now, you see, it's not quite right. I'm going to bend it, and then I'm going to flatten it down. And I'm going to push it up. Oop. Push this part up. There we go. It's a little bit better. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap this side as well. Again, keep your wire up close to the bead if that's where you want it. Okay. Got it pretty good. I'm going to flatten that wire down. So that's where it's going to sit. And since I've already got that one done and that one done, I'm going to go ahead and do another one on this side. Kind of straighten my wire up. Can't stand having kinky wire. Shame on it being kinky. No. I'm just trying to be funny, guys. Please laugh. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, I want to kind of keep the wire where I want it to be. Kind of flatten it down a little bit with my fingers. And then come in, flatten it down with the pliers. Now you notice that there is more wire sticking out here than there is here. Okay, if you're okay with that look, leave it. If you want it to look a little bit better, you can always come in and kind of straighten that wire up just a hair, and then come back, and that way it won't be so tight. It's up to you though. Now I'm going to turn. I'm going to do this side. And what you can always do is you can always just take your pliers and you can go ahead and bend where you want it to be bent right there. Like I said, there are multiple ways to do everything, and multiple people have made a video showing how to do these simple wire rings. Not one of them are wrong, and not one of them are right. Everybody has their own way of doing things. try to get this wire to do what I want it to do right there. Straighten that one out because it's kinky again. Shame on you. All right, so let's stop right there for a second because like I said, we're going to do 3, but we've already done 2. Let's see how it's doing. Guess what? It's actually sitting at an 8, but we can push it down. That's okay. It's all right. So I'm going to do one more right here. Push that. And it's just not wanting to quite cooperate. There we go. That's what I was wanting to do. All right. There we go. And I'm going to see. You go over there. You come here. And you, whoop. You don't want that to happen either. All right. So there's that part. Now, you see I have a pretty good, you have a little bit of wire left on this side, a pretty good wire on this side. You can just cut them straight off, leave it at that. You could do some swirls. You could do whatever you want to, really. I'm going to cut this to be about 2 finger widths or so. Do the same over here. About 2 finger widths. And they're about the same. They're close enough. So now, like I said, you can always just cut it off right here, flatten it down, you're good to go. I'm going to put a little bit of swirl in this and see how that looks. Because you can do really whatever you want to. Because honestly, if you're making this along with me, you're making yours. I'm making mine. So everybody's turns out differently, and that is okay. And there we go. Kind of flatten that down. That looks pretty good. I like that. Cute little swirl. Come in with this one. Not all swirls are created equally. It's a shame, though. Just being a little funny. All right, flatten that swirl down. Get that down. Bam. There's your ring, okay? Let's put it on here. Guess what? It's sitting at a 9 perfectly. Isn't that awesome? So, there you have it. There's you a simple bead, single bead, wire wrapped ring for you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, any suggestions for any future tutorials, please leave those in the comment section down below. Or I do have a discussion tab on my YouTube page that you are all absolutely welcome to go post on there as much or as little as you like. Hopefully as much as you like, though. If you want to just say hi, if you want to give me tips on how I can improve things or suggestions for future videos, please leave those wherever you would like. I would love to hear from you because I'm kind of running out of ideas. So kind of help me out here, guys. And again, if you have not subscribed, please, please, please hit that subscribe button down below. Also hit the notification bell icon so that you can stay up to date with new videos that I come out with when I come out with them. And also, if you have not checked out my Etsy page, please go and check that out. Make a purchase or, I don't know, whatever. Even just favorite my shop or some of my listings. I'm on to being a pretty much an Etsy seller now. I've kind of lost my job anyhow. So, you know, got to pay the bills, got to feed the kids and all that kind of good stuff. So anyway, cut it off right now. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.